Thank you. My name is Peter Gwer. I am from Nyev Goma local government area of Benue State. I am a polio survivor. I got to become a person with disability at the tender age of 2. I was told I started walking when I was suddenly affected by the polio, and I could not walk since then. Um, I I my life from the period from the time being right from the bed from the period I became a person with disability till now, just as you know, has been full of hurdles, but I've been able to ride over it by the grace of God. Um, Starting from the period at the my immediate community in the village where I grew up, I I faced some I faced some challenges. I faced some challenges based on the environment, the nature of structures, just as a normal way of persons with disability, normal challenges that a person with disability faces. I faced it like that. I I schooled through the village without mobility aid. Even when for me to start my elementary school, um, I couldn't start in time, and my parent could not even officially take me to school that yes, today we are enrolling you into school. It was me myself that decided to join school children, those going to school and started school, because there was no good provision, like how I can manage to be going to school right from time. So I decided to join and started going to school like that. So gradually I finished my primary school, and then I got into the secondary school like that, and I graduated from the secondary school. So when I graduated, my father um, gave me some money, about 20,000 naira, that I should go and start a phone charging and maintenance business there in the village. Because immediately after my secondary school, I I started working with a man there in the village that owns a, a phone accessory shop. So when he gave me the money, I thought within myself that if I remain in the village here and with this, I will not be able to make a better impact for myself. So I carried my loads when everyone was away from house and left the village to Makodi. So when I came around, I came and I was staying with my brother. I told him that I don't want to live in the village. So my father gave me some money to start this business, and I don't want to do it in the village. So I'm here in the town. So the money was 20,000 naira. I used part of it for my transport, and I kept 10,000 naira. And um, I used the 10,000 naira out of it and applied for JAM. So when I applied for it, I went and met my pastor in the church and told him how I registered for JAM, and I needed materials to read for my JAM. So he assisted me with past questions and answers and some notebooks like that, and I started reading towards and preparing towards my JAM. So I wrote the JAM. I read very well. I wrote the JAM in Otukpo, and passed with flying colors. About 235 points I scored, and from there I got admitted into Benue State University. But there was no hope somewhere for me to get myself to pay my school fees in the university. So I started going around to look for who will help me, because my father was not ready and he wasn't even having the resources, because he was of the belief that um, there is no need for somebody to go to school in the first place, because he has sponsored so many of his children and none of them is working job. There is no job like that. So he was not ready, and then even me, I was not seeing any means somewhere for him or any of my siblings around to assist me. So I started looking for help around in Makodi here. I sometimes move from office to office to like talk to people who will help me with my jam admission later at that time. So on December 3rd, particularly during the celebration of International Day for Persons with Disabilities, I I was also in attendance in Government House at the old banquet hall. So when the First Lady was presenting the certificate to the person that was appointed as a senior special assistant to the governor on persons with disabilities, I I made so many attempts to see her. I was trying. I By then, even with the nature of the office of the first lady, you can't just go to her directly like that. But I struggled and then tried and see her. So when I see her and she heard that I was trying to, she saw that I was trying to come to her. She allowed me. I talked to her, gave her my admission letter. By that time, there was not even enough evidence for me to prove that I got admission. But I gave it the little evidence that I had. I gave it to her, and she directed I should go and meet Japheth in Government House at that time, through Unispring Life Foundation. So I went and met. I went from 2015, and as God could have it, I from the period of waiting, that is December 3rd, 2015, that I was waiting. God just wanted to do something good for me, because it from the time I submitted the letter in Government House, or I met Japheth in Government House. Help wasn't, as in, it took a long time. I wasn't seeing help somewhere, and then it was at that time that BSU increased acceptance fee, that students protested and there was a strike. So um, immediately school resumed, I was called that I should go to school and then collect school fees receipt. That a check was given in school, so my school fees will be paid there. I should go and collect school fees receipt. So I went there, I collected the receipt, it was paid. Everything was fully paid, and even some money was given to me for accommodation, my feeding, my reading materials, and all of that. So I got, that is how I found myself into the Benue State University in the Department of Accounting. So at the school now, you earlier talk about the challenges persons with disability faces when it comes to accessibility. It was so challenging that sometimes we need to go upstairs and attend lectures, or pass through very difficult environment like that to attend some lectures. Sometimes even the capacity of the lecture halls are such that are very small. So sometimes people will struggle, rush and go to classes, to the halls and sit, and me, I will come at last, and I will not even have close to where the lecturer is lecturing, and then that has that's quite disrupted me, and caused a lot of challenges. But I was able to ride over it, because I already programmed my mind that no matter what the challenges I face, I will endure it and see how I will be able to ride over it, and at the end, success will come. And by the grace of God, we from the period of the 2016, the long academic strikes, uh, uh, and the academic calendar and whatsoever, we from 2016 till I became a graduate in 2021, and the first lady, through the office of through Uni Spring of Life Foundation, sponsored me from that time till now that I'm a graduate. Everything, even now that I have graduated, anytime I go around and seek for support to do anything, they they gave me their own support. um, Example, the period we were in the coronavirus lockdown, that was the period I enrolled myself into computer program, that I even knew how to operate a computer. I approached the office and told them, asked for their assistance to also support me to enroll into this program. I enrolled into data processing and desktop publishing. I completed it. I went and showed them the certificate, asked for another help again. They gave it to me, and I enrolled into an electronic accounting program as Oracle 11, um, and Sage 50, QuickBooks, FreshBooks, and all of that. I enrolled and I passed, and today I'm proud to say that I have all those certificates with me, and I learned them, and I'm practicing them. Back then, um, in October, I was mobilized for my mandatory national youth service in Edo State, Okada camp. I left Benue State, Makodi here to Edo State. So when I reached the camp, just at the gate, I was asked if I will want to go back to, if I will want to complete my registration and go back. I said no, I will want to stay. So I was checked at the gate. I entered the camp. So when I did the first registrations, and I got to the point where they will allocate a room, a bed for me, there was a problem. The camp, the officer in charge of accommodation refused, that he will not offer me an accommodation in the camp because I am a person with disability. To him, he was pitying me. He was pitying me because he felt that I will not be able to cope in the camp, considering the nature of the buildings, the building structures, how I will be able to access these buildings, and then the activities that they do carry out in the camp. There, I will not have anybody around to be assisting me, moving around, to be collecting me for me, fetching water for me. So I should better go back. It became a problem. I said no, I shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like that. You know, in a model of disability, and a charity model of disability, the most of the time people look at persons with disability as an agent of pity, which me myself, I never want. I don't want it like that. Anywhere I go, I don't always want people to pity me. The problem sometimes, most of the time, that we persons with disability we have is that people pity us, and then once you pity someone, you will not be able to allow the person, give the person to the opportunity to operate freely. Now the camp official was pitying me, and then in another way denying me of the social life. the right to also stay in the camp and have that experience and they mingle with people around in the camp. Now he refused, and I kept my load outside the hall, and I went ahead with the other registrations. So it became so serious that he went and called some other persons, the some co-camp directors and some other officers to come, that they should come and help talk to me, that I should go. They will not admit me. They came and talked. I say I will stay. They say they can't admit me in the camp. So I went and met the camp state coordinator, that this is what's happening. She asked if I'll be able to cope. I say yes, I will cope. So I stayed in the camp. They gave me an allocation. I stayed, and by the grace of God, I was able to do everything myself. First of all, when as a person with disability, when you go anywhere, at least everybody around has a challenge, and it is your ability to study the environment and see how you can fit in into the environment that will make you to survive in that environment. So when I looked around, I said, okay, these structures here are even better considered and more accessible, considering what I faced back in school. And even where I had my professional accounting program at the Benue State, at the Federal Secretariat, it was at the last floor, I think the fourth floor, and there is no elevator that was taking me there. There's no ramp. There is a walkway for wheelchair to go. I used to keep my wheelchair down and go up and come down. For 5 months I did that. So it has never been easy. So if I can cope on all these places, then this place is a very small place. I remained in the camp. I remained in the camp, and um, I participated. I get myself involved in all the activities, uh, the march past, the parade, the man o' war, all the activities that were being done in the camp. I got myself involved. The partying, all the social life in the camp, and as God could have it, even in the camp, Said, there is skills acquisition and entrepreneurship developments that they normally do in the camps. The Unity Bank came around, where talked to us on the need to become self employed, and they they introduced the program that they do yearly to co-members, so called copreneurship, where it's a pitch program where people with viable business ideas, we write business plans and submit to them. 10 persons will be selected from the list that were submitted, and then the 10 persons will come and compete and do the physical presentation, and from there 3 persons will be chosen. Prizes for the prize, 1,000 naira for the first person position, the second position 300,000 naira, and the third position 200,000 naira. Oh, I say yes. Um, um, Business has always been my passion. I in order to make a useful impact to myself and the society, I engage myself from trading. I invest mostly in rice and in fact an agro-allied industry. So I say this would be a very good opportunity for me to also get some funding to expand my business. So I wrote a plan. I wrote a business plan and submitted. And by God's grace, out of the people that we submitted their plan, I fell among the 10. We did the presentation in the hall, and I made second position and won the prize. I won 300,000 naira second position prize. And today I am here. I have already put the money into rice farming too, and to today I am here as serving as a co-member with Disability Rights Advocacy Center. As you can see here written DRAC, Disability Rights Advocacy Center. Disability Rights Advocacy Center is an NGO that speaks and advocates for the rights of persons with disabilities, and this has also given me the opportunity to also advocate and then speak for other persons with disabilities and other people outside there that we want to that are facing one challenge or the other, that we want to make their life better. Those who want to give up, we encourage them that they should put in more effort and determine with whatsoever challenges that they are facing, they will be able to overcome it. Thank you. Yes, normally every business person faces challenges, and the nature of the business I'm doing, mostly it's not even people that are no with disabilities. Some persons may not be able to cope with it because it's into farming. I'm a farmer, and the challenges into this business, the business of farming, that like the rice farming that mostly I do, and even animals rearing, the strength to go about. Let's say if I am to buy this the rice in the market and bring it to the store, the challenge is to go to the market to have good access, to have markets that are accessible by a person with disability like me is so challenging, and to bring this to the store, all those kind of challenges like that are faced mostly, that is the challenges that are unique to only to people with disabilities. Yeah, my words of encouragement to persons with disability is that they should always look at their disability as an opportunity for development. They should always be determined that no matter what, they are going to make it. And everywhere they go, the system in our country today is so challenging, especially to persons with disability, and it's not a day job. You can't just sit and complain always that structures are not accessible, this and that. So you need to program your mind so that you will fit into the environment that you find yourself. And to the general society out there, the one word one thing I will just tell you about how you can look at people with disability is never to look at them as never to pity people with disability. Whenever you see a person with disability and there's an opportunity you have for him, even if it's to go to the sky and get it, allow the person. He should be the one to say, no, I will not be able to do that. So that by the time you give him the opportunity, you will see the ability in him. We keep saying there is ability in disability, but we don't give the people with disability the chance to prove that yes, there is actually ability in disability. So always give people with disability the chance and the opportunity, and stop pitying people with disability. Yeah, my parents, oh, my mother is late. My father and all my siblings around, my brothers, they are so proud, and they are happy that I made it at last, and at least they have make it to. I also made them to understand that if somebody is determined to succeed, he will succeed if he's determined. And they are also very happy and proud that I made it at last.